we'll jump right into it. Jen already gave a little introduction about what I do. I'm a physical therapist. So for those of you, hopefully you've seen a physical therapist for your Parkinson's disease. We always recommend getting in to see somebody right off the bat to talk about exercise and what you can be doing to manage your symptoms. We do that here at the Parkinson's Fitness Project in Seattle. And then we have, like Jen said, an online program, which has come in really handy over this past year because everything's gone virtual with our online workouts called dailydosepd.com. I have certifications in power moves and LSVT big. As Jen said, those are just strategies that are more specialized towards Parkinson's exercise and ways to teach people with Parkinson's how to move better. When we're talking about apathy in these times of COVID, I think apathy has run more rampant across the entire population, not just in Parkinson's. Life has changed so much. And what we know about apathy is when routines are changed, apathy and the lack of motivation to keep going can kind of creep in. And you know, that loss of social interaction with folks that we used to have, you know, the daily routines of seeing our coworkers, seeing our classmates in Parkinson's classes, going to social groups, going to support groups, you know, all the things and hobbies we used to have in life that involved human interaction have now changed. And it's taken a long time to get used to this new reality. I can speak personally. I was just thinking this the other night as I was talking to my wife, you know, when is this all going to end? Not knowing, the unknown really makes me, it creates a struggle in me to want to be motivated to keep pushing forward because we're kind of stuck in this, we're stuck in place right now. And we've been stuck in place for a long time. And that change in routine and that loss of friends and interactions for me has been really fatiguing. Certainly the unknown has been fatiguing as well. And fatigue and apathy kind of go hand in hand. So what is apathy? Generally, it's a difficulty in getting interested in activities, loss of passion and emotion. And we know it's one of the most common non-motor signs and symptoms of Parkinson's disease, along with fatigue and depression. So not only are we living in a time when a lot of people are apathetic and having trouble getting motivated during the day, we also know that it's something that is highly likely to happen even outside of COVID times in the population of Parkinson's. It's generally with Parkinson's, that change in mood, depression, apathy comes from this balance and interplay of dopamine and acetylcholine. When we have too much acetylcholine, dopamine and acetylcholine in the normal state kind of balance each other out. They're two neurotransmitters in our brain. When we have a decrease in dopamine, we have a relative rise in acetylcholine. And not to get too complicated with it, but that's usually where those feelings of changes in mood and depression come from with Parkinson's disease. So it affects about 40% of people with Parkinson's. And this was a study I looked up just as I was looking up apathy. For one study found that people watch 2 times as much television as those without. And one of my good friends, somebody that used to take our classes the other day was writing, I thought it was pretty funny. They said, you know, the gravitational pull of my couch is 19 times stronger than any other pull on the Earth's surface, any other force on the Earth's surface. And I can see that, you know, especially during these times. It's really hard to get motivated, really hard to keep going. And hopefully I can give you some simple tips today that will help with that. Living well with PD there are a few main things that we should be doing that I usually talk about. This is usually my main shtick, is to give these, like, how to live well and how to exercise with Parkinson's. But they totally counteract what happens when we get apathetic, or they totally go against what happens when we get apathetic. These things are really hard to do when you're dealing with apathy. Building strong social connections, staying active daily, and consistent exercise. So if we're going to live well with this disease, we need an active routine, we need friends and support groups that keep us going and motivated, and we need consistent exercise. And when you're feeling apathetic or unmotivated, those things go right out the window. I also love this picture I found. This was taken pre-2020, I have a feeling. Those guys are like 6 inches apart. Hopefully we get back to that at some point. Who knows? So came up with my own little acronym here today, this morning, and we're gonna go with it. RAGO. I could have done ragu. I was trying to go with ragu, but if anybody can think of a U that would go with open dialogue, unlimited dialogue, that would work better. But we'll go with RAGO. So we're going to talk about 4 tips today, 4 easy things. Hopefully you can remember these things and try to implement them slowly to get back out of that funk that you might be feeling. Routine, accountability, setting goals, and maintaining open dialogue to talk about what you're feeling in order to deal with it better. So we're going to talk about those today. I'm not going to give you, I'm hopefully going to give you some easy things you can stick with, and hopefully they're not overwhelming to you, because I think when people are feeling unmotivated and a little maybe down in the dumps or in a funk, it's really tough to make these huge changes. So making small changes might be the best place to start. Number 1 is building a routine. Let me see here. Unleashed interaction. Good job, man. Randy is on it today. He's not apathetic about this talk. That's one thing I know. Nice. Unleashed interaction. So now we have ragu, and everybody's going to remember that. All right. Let me go back. So building routine is something we want to do. That's like the first and foremost. When I was in this roundtable that we talked for a good while with a lot of people, and they said that was the one thing they've lost this year. And I can speak to that too. When we first went into the pandemic, when everything got shut down, I was in charge because I treat mostly Parkinson's disease, and many people were very worried about what to do. We were still essential, but I was worried about my business because I thought I was never going to work again. And we were trying to adapt, but I was back at home with my kids when school shut down because my wife was still seeing some patients. And I realized routine is important because that first week, I was sleeping in with the kids. We were not getting out of our PJs. We were just kind of going through the motions. And, I lost my routine really quickly, and I realized this is not going to be good long-term. So even though we didn't have a lot we were doing, we were getting up every morning, and the kids were preparing for school on the same time frame that they would have if they had been in school. So we got up, we got showered, we got our PJs off, and we put on some regular clothes. We walked the dog for a little bit of activity like we would walk to school anyways. And then as our kids and my routine started to develop with work, we got into those habits every day, and it was easier to stick with it. So routine is important, and this year has been one that will totally throw your routine off. Starting with a routine every day. Maybe it's just I'm going to eat lunch at this time, breakfast is at this time, and dinner's at this time. I'm not going to waver. I'm going to go to bed at this time and wake up at this time every day, and we're going to start with that. Because things have been so varied, and that routine is part of what builds good, healthy habits. Whether it's exercising or just living in the moment and keeping ourselves going. So it takes 20 to 60 days to build a habit, to build a routine. We created something that you guys can all use right now. We'll send it out after this is all done, but it's just a 30-day challenge to stay moving every day. Now, this is all about exercise because I'm with the Parkinson's Fitness Project, and we're trying to motivate people to move more. But you can use it for anything you want. If you're trying to get out of an apathy or get out of an apathetic state, whether it's music, you want to get back into music, you want to get back into a creative hobby that you used to do. Let's set every day doing a little bit, okay? We ask for people to exercise 20 to 30 minutes every day for 30 days and mark it down on a calendar that I'll send out afterwards, and you guys can all try it just to keep you moving and keep you motivated. I talked a little bit about setting a sleep routine. Sleep is so important, and getting to bed at the same time is very important, especially in Parkinson's disease. We know sleep, impairments with sleep, disorders that come along with sleep are more prevalent in the Parkinson's population. That creates more fatigue, and that creates an ugly cycle of feeling that you don't have the motivation to do anything the next day when you've had a bad night of sleep. So we have to set ourselves up as best we can, going to bed at the same time every night, shutting the lights off and all the devices off in the room, maybe not even bringing devices into the room, like your iPhone or iPad. Keeping plants in the bedroom to clean out and detoxify the area you're sleeping in and breathing in all night. And then creating good habits, not staying up and watching TV in bed. Bed is the only place where you're going to sleep. It's just for sleeping. It's not for anything else. So setting up those good habits helps to bring about more energy throughout the next day. And even if it's starting a sleep calendar, might be a good way to start building back into a more normal routine of activity. And then we talk a lot about working with your med cycle to optimize workouts, but making sure you're consistent with your med cycle. Also, things that have gone by the wayside this year is that consistency with a routine. So it could be as simple as saying, I'm going to get consistent with my meds now, and we're going to start there with building a routine. I mentioned, there's online offerings throughout the week. If you're thinking about trying, if right now you're dealing with apathy towards exercise and movement, which I know a lot of people have, there's so many online offerings that have cropped up over this past year, that working through some of those exercise class schedules can help you also build a routine. I know a lot of people that use Daily Dose have said, knowing that I have to be at that live workout on Mondays at 9 a.m. has helped me really get my cycle back on track and keep me going, and trying to stay on the live workouts has kind of kept me in a routine. So looking at online offerings, I know APDA has a great online calendar going right now. Using their virtual events could be another way that you could start to build in routine. This is our 30-day fitness challenge. It's pretty simple. 30 days, quick and easy, trying to exercise for 20 to 30 minutes. And there's some benefits with it. If you're a Daily Dose member, you get a free 30 days extra after your free month trial. If you're able to demonstrate and show us that you've done 30 days of exercise. So just trying to build a little motivation, but feel free to use this 30-day challenge to build any healthy habit that you want and get out of the funk that you might be in, or the apathy that you might be feeling. So it doesn't have to be exercise, even if it's just, like I said, getting back into the hobbies and the activities that you loved. Use this counter to track your days and build a routine. So point number one, routine. Accountability is our point number two. So this is a kind of an interesting area over the last year that I've realized is that people need those accountability partners. And a lot of our workout classes, our PD support groups, those kind of things were built around knowing that somebody else is going to be there and I have to show up too. And when all that fell out the window, I'm a homebody. It's been a really nice year for me to say, I don't have to do anything. I'm comfortable here. It's nice. But it takes away those social interactions that we really need. And so we've done things with our online platform, and I know others have too, with trying to build accountability. And if somebody's having trouble staying active, linking them up with someone else who is also in the same situation has been helpful at keeping them both accountable and showing up to the exercise classes on Daily Dose. But it could be the same way with any other activity that you want to do. Having that accountability and knowing that somebody's there looking for you makes it much more motivating to come and to keep consistent with. We've also had it where if you're showing up to an online class regularly, we start to know when you're not there. And if you're not there, you got somebody that's going to check on you and see how things are going. So if you don't have anybody that you're accountable to right now, look for your friends and family. Even some of our class members have used, and I'm just giving ideas here, but I've had some class members that work out or have told us they work out regularly with their brothers or sisters. I had one client that came in the other week and said he started to walk with his neighbors. And he was feeling down in the dumps. He wasn't getting out. So he asked one of his neighbors if he could start a walking group with him. And they've started walking 2 times a week. So he has that interaction and he has that accountability. His brother also comes over and they both work on balance exercises once a week. So building those accountability partners in really makes your routine start to build, because you know you have to be there for someone else. So it's another great way. And if you don't have anybody that you know of that you want to reach out to or feel comfortable reaching out to, think about those resources that you might have around you. Maybe you have a good PT or a trainer that you used to work with. Check in with them and see if they might know somebody that might want a workout buddy or an accountability partner. Um, we've had a lot of people reach out to us, and we try to connect them with others that might help. Even APDA Northwest might have some resources for somebody that wants more accountability. So don't feel like you're stuck. Reach out to somebody. I have an example here. Chris and Sue, they're Daily Dose members and also have been part of our family at Parkinson's Fitness Project for a while. They didn't know each other, but they started to realize they were showing up to the same classes all the time. And one of them was saying they were really having a tough time coming in regularly. So they developed their own bond through our online classes. And now they try to check in on each other every time we have an online class. And as much as these classes started out as very distant and we felt like we were not as close as we used to be, I've noticed that as we build a routine and you have more and more people coming in that are regular, as I check into our online class, there's people talking and joking around before. People are checking in 5, 10, 15 minutes before just to have that social interaction. So going back again, online classes can be difficult and tough, but it's really the only thing we have right now. And I'm starting to see that social relationships are being built outside of just the purpose of the class, which is to get exercise. So don't poo these online courses. I really think there's so many being offered now, but if you stay to one and stay consistent with it, you're going to start to meet friends from all over the place that build that accountability. Our third tip is setting realistic goals. So we've got routine, building a routine, accountability, and now we have goals. So we know in life, if we don't have goals, we're going to stop the activity that we're working on. We're just going to give up because there's nothing to push forward through. As a PT, we have to develop goals with our clients that we want to achieve because it builds accountability, it builds motivation, it builds passion to meet those goals. So setting goals today will help you get out of that apathetic mood. It's not a surefire way, but it's something we can all do easily. So they don't have to be huge goals. It can be the 30-day challenge. It can be timing your minutes of activity or walking or creative work, whatever you're working on, whether it's, learn a new instrument or whatever you're trying to do, whatever you enjoyed before, but working on those for a certain period of time throughout the week. So I put in 150 minutes a week. This is one of my general guidelines for exercise with Parkinson's disease. Getting 150 minutes in or 20 to 25 minutes of intensive work out exercise every day has been shown to be a key to slowing the progression of the disease. So setting that goal is something we can all do. And even if that goal is too much right now, maybe it's only, I can only get 2 hours in maybe a week. I'm going to try to do 2 hours, 120 minutes, 100 minutes, whatever it is, start there and achieve it and then build on it. Okay. But no goals at all. Just saying, I think I'm going to lose some weight. It's not going to get there unless you know what you want to get down to and have a plan. So building a goal in is important. It gives you reward at the end of the day as well. And we need that. If anybody else has ideas, feel free to chat about them. Love to hear what goals you may have put in place over the past year as well, because it helps others. I'm giving some simple examples, but if you have some ideas or things that have happened to you over the past year that you realize have been really helpful, feel free to put them into the chat section. You can always try something new as well. We want to build a routine, but sometimes, let me see if I can see this. For some reason, while I'm sharing, I can't quite see the Q&A, but I'll come back to it really quickly. We're almost through my slides here. Can see the chat box. Let me see. Coming back. So trying something new if you feel like you're stuck or in a rut. Getting out, if you feel like, hey, I'm biking every day, but it's just not getting me going. I'm barely breaking a sweat. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to the extent I need. Trying out a dance class, trying out one of the offerings on APDA. We've got multiple different classes on Daily Dose that you can try and jump into. Jumping into a different live class once a week to see if maybe the instructor is different and makes you work harder or stay more consistent with it is important. There's so many free or virtually free options online, or right now with Parkinson's disease that you can always find something that is a little different and might challenge you in a different way. And if you have a PT or somebody that you've been working with in the past, reaching out to them and asking what they know about resources for Parkinson's disease in your area right now might be a great way to jump into something new. And that new novel experience might bring about more accountability with your routine. And treat yourself. So whatever you're doing, build your goals and then give yourself a reward for that goal. Like I talked about, we're given free months, a free month's worth of exercise on Daily Dose for those folks that complete the 30-day challenge and send in a picture. It's something simple, but it gives you something to work for. So it could be easy. I get this walk today and I get a dessert tonight. Those kind of things help build routine and accountability. So goals have to be a part of you getting or improving apathy during this crazy time we're in. So you've got now building a routine, finding an accountability partner or building some accountability in with your family or friends, setting goals. And the fourth tip is unleashed interaction or open dialogue for us less creative minds. We got to talk. You got to let it out. We are so secluded right now, all in our bubbles, all in our homes. We have to find ways to talk and let people know when we're struggling. And you've got resources. You've got online resources. You've got me. You've got Jen, Jean, Kirsten. You've got ways to reach out and ask for help. It doesn't have to be your best friend. If you just need some resources on how to
Nate, I believe you are frozen. I think that can you type in the chat if you can hear me but not see Nate? Because I'm watching it on a different screen. Oh, are you back?
Can you see me?
I can see you and hear you now. You did freeze for a bit, so.
Oh, I see it's unstable. Am I back now?
You are back now, yes. Okay. So we lost you at, where were you talking about? You had talked about don't holding it in, and you said you were starting, I think, to get to your second bullet point.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, you're frozen again. The technology, here's the thing with Zoom, works when it works great. So he'll be back.
Yeah. So if you're feeling stuck at home and you feel like you don't have anybody to help you, check with Jen, check with Jean, check with me. There are resources throughout the country that can help you connect and get into a live class, get into some activity that is helpful. And I really do promote the live classes. We do recorded classes on Daily Dose. Everything's recorded and put back up. And if it doesn't work into your schedule, that's fine. But getting in and seeing other people in the room and having to talk with them and interact and smile is a really important part of staying on a routine. So I really want to promote that. And right now we have just a plethora of different online YouTube classes, Zoom classes. So check with your local nonprofits and PTs, trainers that you've worked with in the past to see what's available. Even one of the classes that you might have been going to, you may not even realize they put it back online. We have a Rock Steady program here close by that I've treated a couple members who didn't realize that they were actually still doing the online classes and have since gotten into it. Sorry, I'm jumping around there. My fingers got a little itchy. So social workers as well. If you have a social worker that you worked with in the past, they will be able to reach out with resources to help you out also. And getting back into support groups. A lot of us stopped with our support groups after they went offline or went online. Getting back into them is really important. So again, just quickly, if you want to get into something right now and want to try something, we do offer Daily Dose PD. It's on dailydosepd.com. That's a picture of me when I was much younger and a better hair day, I hope, Randy. But like I said, the 30-day challenge, it's an easy way to get back in, start working out easy, track your fitness, track your movement every day, show what you've done over 30 days, and hopefully build a habit. We can help you out with accountability partners, and we can help you set those goals to get out of that apathetic kind of mood that so many people find themselves in these days. I will stop sharing. My email is nate@theparkinsonsfitnessproject.com. You can always call 304-506-3876. Yes, that's a West Virginia area code, but that was a free phone number that I got when we started this business, so I'm not giving it away. I'm always here to help. We're always here to help. Our team, APDA Northwest, is always here to help. Please use our resources. I am going to stop sharing. Management by objectives. Stan, right? Peter, I'm not quite sure I understand that. Stan, if you can give me a little clarification on, is that a question or not? I see Peter Drecker says MBO, management by objectives. Maybe that's in reference to goal setting, but if you have a question or something, please let me know. It's about, I don't know if I have a whole lot more to add, but I'm hoping maybe some people have some ideas or things that's helped them deal with apathy over the past year. If not, I'll leave it open to the chat. I hope this has been somewhat helpful, and we will also, Stan says, yeah, just an idea to share management by objectives. I think that's another reference to, setting goals so that you can manage your disease. And that's a great way to think about it. Jen,
I will say that I want to remind people that if you don't want to type, because your fingers, you don't want to type, you can raise your virtual hand and I will unmute you and you can say hello to Nate and you can make any comments or ask any questions. This is kind of this time. We've got Nate and his expertise right here. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. And look at that. I believe that we do have somebody that raised their hand. Teresa, we're going to the line for you. Hello, Teresa. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, I'm there. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Good. So Nate, I have been to physical therapy before, but this was before I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And I'm newly diagnosed about in September. I live in Seattle, and last time I saw a PT was before COVID, and I saw him in person, and I did exercise. He gave me exercises to do. So now, how do I set up with a PT? Do I do it virtually, and
that's a great
do
question.
I come to you guys? I don't want to go to Bellevue. No offense, but I live in Seattle, so I want a PT in Seattle. Okay.
Well, if you're in Seattle, that's great. Yeah, we're here. We've always been considered essential. That was my fear. I talked about not working for a couple weeks because we weren't sure what we could do, but we've rearranged our clinic. We do one-on-one treatments and we take insurance. We're in the Leschi neighborhood of Seattle. So just south of Madrona. And the number I put up, 304-506-3876, or email me at nate@theparkinsonsfitnessproject.com, and we can set up an appointment. We did telehealth for a while, but it's really hard to do physical therapy for Parkinson's disease over the internet.
I would think so, yeah.
And so we take, all precautions You won't see my beautiful smile. I'll have a mask on, but we'll we're
Oh wow, it'll be fun. It'd be fun.
we're
Yeah,
here 5
good.
days a
I've
week.
done your daily dose. I'm
Oh,
doing daily dose, and I'm doing, and then
okay.
I try this class and I try this class.
Yeah.
My other question is, and maybe other people have this issue. It's like, okay, how much is enough? And I know 150 minutes a week, blah blah blah. That's not very much, really. If you think about doing little weights, doing some cardio, doing some cross. I mean, there's a million things I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know how much is enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm a little overwhelmed by it all, frankly.
That's exactly why the research is clear. 150 minutes or more. Now, when they do exercise studies that look at 300 minutes, they see improvements as well. But overwhelmed, I see burnout in so many people with Parkinson's disease because they're overwhelmed. Everybody's telling them they need to do boxing, they need to do yoga, they need to do Tai Chi, they need to do music and dance, and it's too much. But focusing on the things that you enjoy and you can stay consistent with is the key. Building a routine that you are comfortable with and can meet that 150 minutes or more is the key. And it's about consistency. So it's about at least hitting that threshold every week. And I've listened to people say you need more, but I don't really, there's clear evidence that 150 minutes or more helps. And it's a low threshold for some. It's really hard to meet for others that are dealing with apathy. And so, that can sound overwhelming for some folks. So I always try to keep that 20 to 25 minutes of intensive exercise every day. And that's the other key is the research really looks at intensive exercise when it's looking at those 150 minutes. It can be in addition to lighter exercise that's beneficial for you, like yoga or Tai Chi, that may not be as intensive, but you really work on your balance. But you need that 150 minutes of heart pumping exercise to at least that's what the research shows, to have a benefit. So I hope that helps you. You sound like a pretty motivated person. And I know just
I am today.
Yeah. So speaking of large groups, it varies all over the place. So keeping that in mind that, hey, even if I don't feel like this is very much, I'm still hitting it. And that's a good thing. And if I hit it every week over the years, I know that I'll be doing better than the me that isn't hitting that goal. So
that's helpful. Okay, good. Thank you so much. That answers my questions.
Yeah, hope to meet you soon.
You will.
And we have another question from Liz. I'm going to allow you to talk, and I will press the button and do that. And also tell everybody else that I will send a post-event email that will include Nate's contact information and a link to the Daily Dose and a link to the Fitness Project and just some of the stuff that we talked about today, as well as his slides. So, Liz.
Hi. You touched on what I was going to ask about, but about all I'm doing right now is walking in my neighborhood. And can you define for me what intensive walking would be?
Yeah. Hi, Liz. How are
you?
Hi.
I'm good, thanks.
It's nice to hear your voice.
Thank you.
So intensive walking. Now, this is a great. See, now I get to go into my whole shtick. This is like my wheelhouse. So. So it does not have to be, you don't have to feel like you have to go out and run today now, but your heart needs to be pumping. You need to be breathing heavily, right? You need to be feeling like carrying on a fluid conversation. You have to take some breaks to take some breaths. And you should feel like you're walking with purpose. They've done studies that look at heart rate, which we want. Now, if you're looking at heart rate, you want your heart rate somewhere at or above 70% of your heart rate max, which is a equation I can give you. If you take the number 220, subtract your age, that's your max heart rate. So if I'm 20 years old, right? So if I'm 220 minus 20, that's 200. And then I take 70% of that, which would be 140. That would be my goal to reach throughout, I think I did the math right, but that'd be what I want to hit if I'm walking for 20 minutes or 150 minutes a week. I want my heart rate at 70% or more of my heart rate max. They've also done studies that have just said, how hard do you feel like you're working? And those folks those studies have shown positive gains too, when people perceive that they're working and their exertion level is 7 out of 10 or higher. Or 6 to 7 out of 10. So if you feel like you're working 60 or 70% of your maximum output, then you're probably there. But you have to kind of self-assess that. So you don't need to go out and get a heart rate monitor. Would be good to kind of see. A lot of iPhones and iWatches have that already, so you can kind of do that math if you want. But you want 20 minutes of hard walking with purpose, focused on big movement, focused on big arm swing, and really trying to walk hard. Not necessarily fast. We don't want you to get out of control, but we want you to walk with purpose. If you're doing that, you're probably working. And it's different for everybody. You know, some people don't feel like they're working hard until they're sweating like a pig. Other people feel like they're working hard, just getting out the door and getting down the block. So it's different, but you want to feel like you're really focused on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Anyone else want to raise their hand? It's like a call-in radio show. I don't see any other hands up. No other questions in the Q&A.
That's all right. I have a feeling
you have a client too.
I'm walking in the door soon, so I should have locked it, but I don't want to lock him out, but I probably have to get going soon.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Nate, for once again, your energy and enthusiasm and your knowledge about this really important topic, because you're so right. Everybody, I tend to be like the positive go-getter kind of person. And this time is tough. And I don't have Parkinson's disease and have an apathy kind of thing that can happen. And it's a tough time to stay motivated and keep moving and get a routine and, all of those pieces. So this speaks to everybody. I feel like we should broadcast this to the world, which we may do because it's going to be up on the YouTube channel afterwards. So,
Marilyn or Marlon in Auburn supports.
Yes.
Support groups, she says, which is very true. If you're not if exercise feels like even too much right now, getting into a support group to talk, I think, is probably the biggest. That last point about just talking to somebody is probably your best step to get going and find resources. So.
And there are a number of localized support groups that have gone online virtually and are accepting new members, whether you're in their town or not. So I have a list of them. And so if you want to be connected with a support group, just give me a call, email me, and we'll see what we can do. So, all right, there's one more Q&A thing. Oh, informative and supportive, just saying good job. So speaking of that, when you exit, there will be a pop-up that says, take our survey. It's a very quick survey. We take your feedback very seriously. We want to know how this went for you. We would like your suggestions on future topics. So if you'll take a moment to fill that out, that would be great. Hopefully we will see you again in February with Dr. Mishley. I know that Nate has worked with her as well, and she always has a lot to say. And then in March, hopefully you'll join us for our research stuff. We're pretty excited to present some of the local exciting things that are going on. So thank you, everyone. Nate, any parting words for folks?
Mary, hydration, she says. Hey, Mary, is Stan there? You better be. I hope he's watching. Thanks for coming in. And yeah, stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated. Thank you. I hope it was helpful. I know it wasn't anything mind-blowing, but hopefully they're just reasonable goals that people can take with them and start off slow. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nate. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again.